Once upon a time, in a part of China, there was a very large monastery. Around 500 monks lived there. They were all practicing to know themselves under the guidance of their master. One day, a young boy came to the monastery to become a disciple. He said to the master, "Master, I want to know myself. I am searching for the truth. I want to find out what the truth is." The master looked at him and said, "If you want to know the truth, you must be willing to devote your entire life to it. Discovering the truth may take your whole life, and even then, there's no guarantee that you will find it in this lifetime. Are you prepared for that?" The disciple replied, "Master, I didn't come here to turn back. I am ready for this." The master said, "If that's the case, here's what you should do in this monastery. There are about 500 monks here, and your task is to grind rice for them from morning till evening. When you get tired, go to sleep, and then start grinding rice again the next morning. Don't think about anything else. Just stay on this path and don't come to me again unless it's necessary. If you need me, I will come to you." The young boy began following the master's orders and started grinding rice. In the monastery, all the monks needed rice regularly, so he would wake up very early and grind rice until late at night. When he got tired, he would sleep in the same room where he ground rice. And also, he didn't talk to anyone, and no one came to talk to him. He was not interested in anyone else, and nobody in the monastery was interested in him. For months, he continued grinding rice, and old thoughts kept coming to his mind. But when those thoughts found no new material to feed on, they gradually faded away. After a few years, he even forgot his own name. He remained silent, lost in a thoughtless state, just grinding rice. He did not practice meditation, nor had he read any scriptures. The other monks in the monastery considered him a fool, but he continued this routine for 12 years. After 12 years, one day the master announced that his time was coming to an end, and he needed to choose his successor. The one who had realized himself and had understood the essence of life should write down their life's experience on the wall near his door. Many disciples thought about doing it. One of the chief disciples, who had a lot of knowledge about Buddhist scriptures, he wrote that, "Mind is like a mirror, where the dust of thoughts and desires accumulates. Meditation helps to clear this dust, and when the mirror is clean, one attains liberation." The next morning, when the master woke up and saw these lines on the wall, he got very furious. He said that, "Which fool had written all this nonsense on my wall?" And the disciple who had written this kept silent, even though the lines he wrote were filled with wisdom. But it was all bookish knowledge. The disciple who had written the lines was very clever. He did not write his name below the lines, because he himself was not sure about whether it was right or not. However, he had not experienced the self-realization. The master completely erased those lines from the wall. This incident became the topic of discussion in the entire monastery. Two disciples, while talking on this topic, passed by the disciple who had come here 12 years ago and used to grinding rice day and night. He laughed loudly after listening to the discussion of both of them. Both the disciples asked him, "Why are you laughing?" They asked him because that rice grinder was a very insignificant monk in their opinion. No one has ever seen him reading scriptures or meditating. Everyone considered him to be a fool who just kept grinding rice. There were great scholars in that monastery, and that rice grinder did not even mean anything to them. That's why they are amazed to see him laughing. They again asked him, "Why did you laugh?" The rice grinder said, "I laughed because the master is saying right. Because all these lines are garbage. They have no value. The disciples who wrote them are still attached to bookish knowledge." Those disciples were shocked. They asked him, "Can you write some lines which are better than this?" The rice grinder said, "I'm not qualified enough to write, but yes, I can say a few lines to you, and if you can write those lines, then I'm ready to go with you." The two disciples said, "Okay, let's go to the master's room." The rice grinder spoke a few lines, and the other disciple wrote them on the wall. Below the lines, they wrote, "The one who grinds rice, The rice grinder thought that the master would be angry again for writing something on his wall, but these lines were extraordinary. It says, "The mind is just an illusion. It is neither the mind nor a mirror. And when the mind does not exist, where will the dust settle? He who knows this has realized the truth." When the master saw these lines, he got up in the middle of the night and directly went to the rice grinder's room and woke him up and said, "Here, take my stick and my robe. From today, you are my successor. But for now, leave this monastery and go far away. In this monastery, there are many scholars who consider themselves superior to you. They will harm you because they cannot tolerate that a simple rice grinder turns out to be more knowledgeable than them. You have gained all the knowledge I have, and you will see that wherever you go, people will come to you, just like the fragrance of a blooming flower spreads in all directions." The rice grinder touched his master's feet and left the monastery that night. When we look at our lives, we often find that many people think meditation is just about sitting quietly with closed eyes. But in reality, meditation can be done while doing any task. The heart of meditation is getting completely absorbed in whatever you're doing to the point where you forget about your body. Just like the person grinding rice who got so lost in the process that he found self-realization. In essence, there's no need for any special technique to understand our true selves. No matter what you're doing, do it with such focus that you lose yourself in it. Make your work a form of meditation by immersing yourself in it so deeply that it becomes a meditative practice in itself. I hope you enjoyed this story and learned a lot. You can tell us your thoughts about the story by commenting in the below comment box. Before leaving, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.